Hello, witches. As far as nostalgia farming, cash grab sequels go, this is one of the best we got. Let's be real. Did we need a sequel? No. Did I love the fashion anyways? Yes. The first third of it is like, remember that? Like the click obsession and this like scrolling, so many screens. I don't think I've seen as many screens in the entirety of Black Mirror as I did in the first third of this movie. So many screens. And it's like, okay, yes, we get it. Like these screens and phones are something that we are so flooded with in our daily lives that to be reminded of it. And then you see the same thing, not just phones, but specifically screens and like looking at social media in movies is a bit like dreaming about phones. Like it shouldn't happen. It's something I don't want to see them. I want them gone. And I know like it's ironic and all of that, but we're all prisoners of the screens, of the pixels. Can we get a break? Yes, this movie is a shameless Diet Coke ad. But at least they're getting paid for it. A brutal way to get fired. It reminded me, unfortunately, of a time, once upon a time, I was working in a company, and in the same area, there was another big company operating there, the only two big companies. And the other one was also doing layoffs. And the way they were announcing it was by putting the affected people's names on a giant screen in the cafeteria. They weren't I don't know if they were informing them beforehand or if that was the way that they just found out for the first time. Imagine you go to lunch and you're watching the screen to see will your name be there. Yeah. Yes, they took the angle of journalism is not the same, it's dying, and even more than that, because of shareholders and consolidation and finance profit engine making everything shittier, destroying everything in the name of manufactured numbers of shareholder value. They're not real. You can tell even the way they're talking about optimizing, these finance bros in the movie that want to buy Runway, optimizing it and streamlining and all of these euphemisms, basically laying people off and getting rid of, especially in an artistic industry like this, everything that makes it what it is and everything that people actually like and buy it for and read it for, stripping it down to things that can be quantifiable. And then they show that they increase the value to their shareholders because they've gotten rid of so many people, and now it's so efficient. And even if they're losing customers, they can still portray it in such a way where it's oh yes, this was great. Consultants did what we asked them to do. They made us more profitable and all of this. And so even if objectively it doesn't work, they will still find a way to portray it that it does and to adjust the numbers that they match what is required. And I know what I'm talking about because I work in finance in my day job. In the first movie, the moral of the story was that, and that's also what I heard people complain about, that it's kind of departing a lot from the original movie and the original kind of message of it, being that there's one person who is evil, which is Miranda. She's the devil. She's the crazy boss. And it's an individual. It's her individual choice. She's the person who is evil. And in this sequel, the devil is actually the shareholder structure, financial system that is on an institutional level. These changes, because they don't just show the Elon Musk caricature, which, by the way, I loved. So funny. It's not just one person. It's the entire structure of the world changing and this consolidation, like I said, and it's this institutional level. And I think this matches the current feeling and perception of what is going wrong in the world, the actual reality of the economic system 20 years later, and who is at fault. And I don't care about Miranda Priestley's career advancement because she's been at the top of the world in this fashion world for 30 years at least. So do I care if she's not only editor-in-chief at Runway, but also global head of content or whatever? No. It does a bit reinforce that boomers are not evil. They're just victims of the same system. And her being a fossil of the fashion industry, even if she's a genius, it might have been more interesting if they were not showing her as oh no, she's the genius, she's the only one of a kind that can do this, and let her have her promotion. Oh no, she's not getting her promotion, but that they showed her maybe she was already a bit outdated and struggling in that way, not just because people try to push her out, and that she should still be there. Maybe she shouldn't. There's young people who have fresh ideas, who maybe have something interesting to say that is not the same person for 30 years. It's a bit like, yes, let's maintain all these people that have been in power for so long, because they just are doing their jobs. But they have had that privilege of doing their jobs for so long, because they continue to hold these positions like hog these positions. Younger people, not younger people, don't have the chance to contribute in the same way that these older people did. And yes, that's due to how the economy in these countries and these companies were like growing and what stage they were at when these boomers were young and just entering the workforce, as opposed to now. But still, that's a reality that they didn't touch on necessarily. That Emily and Andy would have been great candidates to be editors-in-chief at Runway. Or maybe not Annie, but Emily for sure. Emily deserved better. And I wish that she was the one to break up with the Elon Musk caricature. Yes, they bring up all these issues about downsizing and everything going digital, but they don't bring any answers. But it's not their lane. In the comedy about fashion, still, that's not really necessarily their place to come up with what will save the economic system and prevent these massive layoffs and make life better for everyone. And then you might say, well, why do they bring up these issues to begin with if they're not going to offer any solution? Because they don't. Their solution is to beat the evil billionaire that is trying to downsize this amazing company and get rid of everything that it stands for. You should find a good billionaire to save your company. And Lucy Liu saves the day. She's the good billionaire. And I love that. Always love to see her happy about how all of that ended up. But the fact remains, she's the good billionaire that saved the day. But yeah, don't really offer any proper solution to this problem that they raise. So you might say, well, why even bring it up? It's because it's affecting a large number of people, and one of the main talking points and issues, and a lot of people are suffering because of that. It's very relevant. So I think that it's good that they're addressing it and not just portraying this world of luxury like they did in the first movie. Because it would have been very hypocritical to create such a movie in 2026. If it affects a large number of individuals, why not give an individual answer like they did in the first movie? The problem was a person, and Andy solved her issue in her own personal way. Why don't they give an individual answer? Like they should give up the corporate world and start a commune. Well, because it's not an individual action, at least not of regular people, that's contributed to these mass layoffs. So the answer can't be individual. And by the way, that's a neoliberal point to make, that a socio-economical problem requires an individual solution. You should just save more, don't eat avocado toast. Like, we know this. It's not. No. Then another criticism was that the characters don't really evolve that much and change. And Andy's totally she's a different person compared to the last movie. She's got like different values and whatever. And still 20 years later, after she's had a lot of career experience and she's now professional and well respected and has a high standing in the journalism world, that she still cowers in front of Miranda when she goes to talk to her. But I almost like that. Not sure this was their intention, but it highlights how such a traumatizing relationship can still affect you 20 years later. Also, she didn't become a whole different person. Those sides of her personality are still there. There's this fun episode in Sex and the City where they meet this crazy former girlfriend of theirs, that she's now married and pregnant, and she's like a totally different person. Before she was like crazy partier, but now she's like all domestic and living in the suburbs, and she's doing baby showers. And then towards the end of the episode, she kind of transforms into her former self a bit and tries to behave in the same way as she did when she wasn't in this new life, and tries to go party and do her table dances and whatever she was doing, which ends up being very embarrassing. In a way, this highlighting that it's still, like, she's still the same person inside, or has at least those traits. Not to say that she didn't have the domestic wifey traits when she was young and crazy partier, but that kind of the predisposition is always there, and even if she's not exercising it fully. Also, can I just say, this is such a Capricorn-coded movie. Like, every single main character is so driven and so locked in. Even Stanley Tucci, the fact that he waited patiently, though perhaps not effectively, for 20 years only to finally be rewarded by being allowed to or encouraged to give a speech that he himself anyways wrote for Miranda. But now he could shine, finally. And in the end, he's still like, oh my god, the last shot where they're showing like the offices and the kind of the hierarchy. Still, she's there. I don't know. The fact that we're like, okay, no, let's maintain the status quo of boomers holding positions of power. Younger, new people, they're just gonna have to, you know, be in their shadow until they pass away, essentially. Don't love that. So anyway, that is my 200 cents on this movie. Subscribe for more very timely, totally not 2 weeks too late commentaries on movies and other stuff. And let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it has no right to exist? Or that it does and it was mid? Or that you loved it? I would say in general, I had a lot of fun watching it. And the theater, people were laughing and it was a good time. I didn't expect much, so maybe that's why I wasn't disappointed. How much can you really expect from a sequel? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments and I will see you next time.